Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, one of Santa's little helpers.
That's right.
My
That's
brother
right.
Alex.
That's
Alex, how you
right.
doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm clean shaven. I'm ready for Santa to come to my house and deliver me the goods.
For people not watching this on YouTube, for people that consume this by listening, they have to understand that clean shaven to you only represents about 75% of your face.
I'm clean. I look clean shaven.
Well, no, you don't look clean shaven.
I even sound clean shaven.
You're clean shaven by your standards, but not by the actual definition of clean shaven.
Well, guess what? My standards are the only standards that fucking matter.
You never shave like everything.
One time, I've done it maybe a couple times, but the one time that I can really remember was when I came down to Texas for a while, and I did high school for like the last half of the year. Yeah, a week. And the freaking school made me...
Oh, that's right. I remember
made me
that.
shave. I was so pissed off. I
That's
think
right,
that's why I stopped going to school down here.
Because at 17, you had to shave.
That's the dumbest
Dude,
rule
You
I've
know,
ever
you know
heard
what's terrible? My son, the other day, I was sitting like alongside him like this, and I looked across, and he's got some hair on his chin.
Yeah.
So he's been shaving his mustache,
Right.
and his eyebrow, his sideburns are getting a little crazy, so he's been shaving them. But now he's got some hair on his chin. You know, he's not even 14 yet.
So he's got to start shaving that.
So yeah, well, the best part is his mother nags him to shave.
So
and
he's not going to.
He is totally irritated by it. Like at first he thought the whole shaving thing would be real cool.
Right.
Now he's like, this sucks. I don't want to shave. I don't like shaving.
Man, don't grow up. Just be a kid.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
You don't have to worry about bills. You don't have to worry about buying people Christmas presents during this time of the year.
That's right. It's a worry-free life.
That's it, man.
Kind of like how the Cowboys' life is going to be after
Yes.
next weekend. It's going to be worry-free.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have any more football to play. They'll play next week. They'll win their game against the Redskins. And then they will go off to do some golfing in Hawaii, some snorkeling in the Pacific.
I'm ashamed to have been backing the Cowboys for these past few weeks.
Oh, that's
but
right.
I feel like they have one more game in them and a little bit of luck also. And that's all they need. They need one more game and a little bit of help.
Look,
and as the New York Giants fans, Cowboys, well, I'm a New York Giant. I don't know who you're a fan of this freaking week, but whatever. Me, as a New York Giants fan, Cowboy fans, I'm willing to help you guys out. I really am. I'm very giving during this time of the year.
Well, you're in the Christmas spirit, aren't you?
I sure am.
There's no way the Giants beat the Eagles next week. Where is that game? Is it in New York or is it in Philly?
It's in New York. Why would you say there's no way?
There's no way.
Why is there no way?
Because, the Eagles have everything to play for. The Giants are,
We have something to play for.
Actually, a loss would probably benefit them because they get a higher draft pick.
Actually, it doesn't matter at this point. Who cares about a draft pick?
Well, the Giants do because they need help.
Think about this for a second. Pat Shurmur is coaching for his job. If he keeps the fucking Eagles out of the playoffs,
Well, he's going to keep his job regardless.
I don't know about that. But if he
You think
beats,
he's going to get fired?
I think he's definitely going to get fired. Yes.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely.
No way, dude. With a rookie after having a rookie quarterback this year, I think they'll give him one more year. The Giants aren't quick to fire. I don't think.
Well, they were Ben McAdoo.
Well, but McAdoo is an idiot.
How?
McAdoo and McAdoo had more talent than this team does.
Well,
Not a lot more, but he had more.
Well, I mean, Pat Shurmur's but play calling. Pat Shurmur's not a good coach. He's a good offensive coordinator. He's not a good in-game coach. Adjusting as the game goes along. He's not good.
Look, I am not saying that he's a good coach. I'm not saying that he's going to be a great coach. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying I don't think the Giants organization off a 4-12 season with a rookie quarterback.
Nice, you're giving them the win next week.
No, they're 4-11 right now, aren't they?
Oh, are they? I don't
Yeah.
even know their record. Okay,
Yeah, they're 4-11 right now.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're going to lose next week.
All right.
I just don't think the Giants organization is going to pull the trigger on a guy after going 4-12 with a rookie quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think he's NFL worthy.
The Giants are not
coach.
playing for anything. I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to be the Eagles right now playing them. I wouldn't want to. The Eagles are not that good.
You keep saying that, but they're going to win the East.
Well, I mean, they could. They have a very good chance of winning the East,
And
but
they're going to have a winning record,
but
which is more than everyone else in that division.
But this is why they play the games. This is why they play the games.
No,
anything can happen.
I agree with you. Anyway.
I mean, I don't think it's out of the question that the Cowboys win next week, and I don't think it's out of the question that the Giants win next week. I wouldn't want
anything is possible because the
NFC
East is crazy, but the Cowboys are going to win and the Eagles are going to win. I mean, let's face it.
I don't know.
And quite frankly, yesterday's game went kind of according to plan.
Why can't the Giants play spoiler?
Well, they can, but let's be honest. They're not going to. Look, and yesterday's game went pretty much the way we thought it was going to go, right? You had the Eagles playing at home against the Cowboy team look, I don't know how bad the shoulder situation was with Dak Prescott, but there were a lot of poorly thrown balls yesterday, which, then kind of, I guess, got into the receivers' heads because there were a lot of drops as well. So that game went pretty much exactly the way I thought it would. The one worry, if I'm an Eagles fan, is Zach Ertz broke a rib yesterday. And who's the
Cox? The guy
Cox?
who had like a freaking... I don't know what the hell that was.
I mean, he looked jacked. He looked like he took all the steroids in that one.
I was like, they put 20 casts on him.
Yeah, I mean, that was
one over
ridiculous.
The other.
But those are big injuries for them. Both of those guys are key parts of the offense. So, well, I think they make it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest... The Eagles are not a good team. They're playing with a bunch of backups. The Cowboys clearly have the better talent on the field, skill position for skill position.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott missed quite a few throws. He overthrew, and
threw behind, all of it.
And the wide receivers didn't catch the ball.
Yep.
And Jason Garrett was up to his old tricks. And to open up the third quarter. I mean, Zeke was finding holes to open up the third quarter, and then on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, they put in the backup. And
he subbed himself out because he got the wind knocked out of him or something.
Yeah, then
so you can't exactly blame Garrett, although
I think a few players subbed themselves out. So yeah.
Yeah, look. I think the Eagles have a huge advantage over the Cowboys when it comes to the head coach. Peterson, I think, is light years better than Garrett. Talent-wise, I think the Cowboys are a little bit better, but not much. What's on the field right now, I think they're better. I think a healthy Eagles team versus a healthy Cowboys team, I think the Eagles have more talent, which is why I expected this race to be over already.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we're going into the last week of the season and two teams actually have a chance to win the NFC East, but there's really not much else to to talk about when it comes to the playoffs because yesterday pretty much took care of everything, right? The Ravens won, so they clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC. Mm-hmm. They said they're going to rest Lamar Jackson and some starters next week, which I think is absolutely the right thing to do. Although that kind of gives them 2 weeks off, right? Because they're going to have a bye week as well. So that's a little concerning, but yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think being healthy is more important than keeping.
Mark Ingram went down too, so that's gonna help. That's gonna help some extra rest. That bye helps.
Yeah, the Patriots locked up the AFC East with a win over the Bills. Mm-hmm. A good game. The Bills are for real. I think all year people have been like, well, are they not? Look, they're 10-5. They have 2 losses to the Patriots.
For real, like how to make it to the Super Bowl? Or
No, I think. Look, I think they can win a playoff game. I think they're gonna give anyone they play, even if they lose their first playoff game. Let's say they have to go to Houston and they end up losing. They're gonna give Houston a run for their money. Houston's not gonna blow them out of the water. And personally, I think they're gonna beat Houston if that's the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they'll have to play the Ravens or the Patriots, and they've already proven with both of those teams that they can play with them. They lost, but they're not going to get their doors blown off either. So I think they're for real. And, like you said earlier, that's why they play the games. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. When you have a good defense, I think anything can happen. So I think they're for real. Do I think they're going to make the Super Bowl? No, I don't. But I think they're not going to go out with a whimper, is my point. The Chiefs have locked up the AFC West. The Texans won the South, and then you've got the Bills at 10-5, and then you've got Titans at 8-7, Steelers at 8-7, Raiders at 7-8, and the Colts at 7-8, all fighting for that last playoff spot.
The Raiders can get in.
The Raiders needed 10 things to happen between this past weekend and next weekend, the final week of the season. 5 this week, 5 next week. All 5 things happened yesterday.
Yeah. For
them to stay in the playoff chase. They have a shot. 5 more things have to happen today. Next week.
No, that's pretty amazing.
So they have a shot. The Titans play the Texans, and it's here. So it's here in Houston. So I think that's going to be a problem for them. And they do not look good at this point. Derrick Henry's hurt. They've got some other injuries. They're not looking too good. The Steelers are a mess, and they've got to go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Now, we just talked about the Ravens, sitting some guys, so that'll be an interesting game. But can they even win the game with Derek Mason or Hodge or whoever's going to be quarterback? Are you going to quarterback?
I mean, I could.
You wouldn't do much worse. Can you hand the ball off?
Oh, I can definitely do that. I can throw a few.
Can you throw like a little swing pass out in the flat?
It'll be check down city. I'll just be 2-yard passes.
Check down city.
Check down city.
Because your deep ball isn't too deep.
Well, I don't want my wide receivers to get tiresome right through the course of the game. I'll pull out the deep balls. In the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I'll save my arm.
If they let you bring out one of those little machines that flings them out there, it's about the only way you'll do that. Do you think they can pull it off next week against the Ravens?
No, it's not a good team. I've been saying that it's not a good team. I won't be surprised if the Raiders make it in there. If not, I believe the Titans will stick to that number 6 seed.
Now the Raiders, who do they play? They have to go to Denver, which is a place that they traditionally have not done well at.
But
Denver's got nothing to play for.
That's a pretty winnable game.
And then the Colts, who are your last team that has a shot, they've got to go to Jacksonville, which they'll win that game.
Yeah, they should win that one
because Jacksonville is a dumpster fire at this point.
Did you see that Panthers player that snuffed? What's his name? The lineman
that punched that guy in the face.
Yeah, I mean, he snuffed him, man.
Yeah,
he got ejected, and then the Panther stuck the finger at the fans.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? The Panthers fucked up. They messed up because they were in the thick of things, and they fire Ron Rivera, and then this is what happens after you get rid of.
I think at that point, they were sliding out. They still had a mathematical chance, but they were starting to really fade out in the NFC. And remember, in the NFC, you have 2 really good teams in the North, 2 really good teams in the West, and a third team that's pretty darn good as well. It was going to be tough for them to pass the Rams, the loser of San Francisco, Seattle, and the loser of Minnesota, Green Bay.
Oh yeah,
to get to a playoff
I'm sure, spot. But I mean, you have a better chance with Ron Rivera as head coach calling the shots than whoever.
Quite frankly, I don't understand why they fired him, because if Cam Newton's ever been healthy, they've done well, and Ron Rivera I think is a really good coach. So I don't understand the whole firing Ron Rivera. I didn't understand it at all when it happened.
Yeah.
The Browns lost. They're 6-9, but they still remain the number 1 seed in drama.
Yeah.
All right, because you had Odell Beckham acting a fool on the sideline over a 2-point conversion.
Is that what it was over?
I think so.
Oh, well,
He thought he should have got the ball.
doesn't surprise me.
And he got a 15-yard penalty for taunting in the first quarter. Like, I want to say it was on the first drive.
Watch next year. They'll be a little better next year.
No.
I think next season, if they fire Kitchens, get rid of Odell, they'll be a whole lot better.
I will make you that wager right now. They're 6-9 right now.
Well, I'm not talking about record. I'm just talking about like better on the field, be in more competitive games, and
let's.
That alone, if they do that alone, they're already better.
No, I'm gonna push this because I think you're off your rocker. They go to Cincinnati next week. Do they win?
Yeah.
Okay, that puts them at 7-9.
Okay.
They will not go 8-8 next year.
Yeah, they could.
I'll make you that wager right now, without knowing what they're gonna do with Kitchens or Beckham or in the draft. I'll make you that wager right now. They don't go 8-8 next year.
I think I'm not making a wager on the Browns. If I do, it's gonna But
that tells you everything you need to know.
No, I don't bet no more.
That tells you everything you need to
know.
No,
I believe they can go 8-8.
You said it. I am not betting on the Browns.
Well, no, I'm not betting on the Browns. I don't care if I believe they're gonna go into the Super Bowl. I'm not betting on the Browns. But no, I think they could be 8-8. If they get rid of Kitchens and Odell, they can be 8-8.
I'm willing to bet you right now they don't go 8-8 because here's the thing. Here's my argument. They're either going to fire Freddie Kitchens or they're not, right? If they keep Freddie Kitchens, no way they're going 8-8. If they fire Freddie Kitchens, they're going to bring in some other idiot, maybe Hugh Jackson, and they're not going to go 8-8. With Odell Beckham, I say the same thing. If they keep Odell Beckham, the drama's only going to get worse, and they're not going to go 8-8. If they get rid of Odell Beckham, they're not going to replace him with a good enough receiver to complement Landry, and then Landry's going to get all bent out of shape, and again the offense is going to be dysfunctional, and they're not going to go 8-8. That organization, they need to be sold. They need to be sold to a different owner to bring in a completely different mindset, attitude, and culture. That franchise is broken. It's horrific.
It's been like that for quite some time.
Yeah, it's been that way since they started, right?
Moved back to Cleveland.
Yeah, since they started the franchise in Cleveland.
They're cursed, man.
It's terrible. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Could be. I don't
know. In the NFC, you've got so now you've got the Niners and the Saints at 12-3 with the best record. The Packers could join them at 12-3 if they win tonight against Minnesota. So let's start there.
Wait, the 49ers are the 1 seed?
The 49ers are the 1 seed right now.
Okay.
So let's start with Packers-Vikings to kind of put a bow on Week 16. Packers are in Minnesota to play the Vikings on Monday night. The game just started. Who wins that game in your opinion?
I don't know. I can't really say. I mean, the Packers are the most non-talked about, flying under the radar team in the NFL. And they have a rookie head coach, and they have, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. So, but nobody's talking about that.
It is kind of amazing.
They're really doing it.
And they're a popular team. So It's kind of weird that they're not talking about them a whole lot.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know who's going to win this game.
I think Minnesota wins tonight. So they drop down to 11-4, which then puts them in a tough spot to get into one of those top 2 seeds. Heck, it puts them in a tough spot to win the division because the Vikings would also be 11-5. The Niners have their last game of the season against Seattle.
They're going to blow Seattle out. Seattle's done.
It's in Seattle.
Seattle's done.
It's in Seattle.
They have no running backs, and their offensive
They're
line.
going to get Marshawn Lynch.
And yesterday's offensive line looked like 2018 Seattle Seahawks. Like Russell Wilson was running for his life
On every play.
They're
I felt
done.
bad for him yesterday.
They're done,
Um,
and they don't have Josh Gordon either.
Now the Seahawks are 11-4. If they win that game to finish 12-4, which is a possibility, it's in Seattle again.
Mm-hmm.
They go 12-4. They win the division over the Niners. So I mean, there's a lot to play for.
Oh,
for
yeah.
them. It's
Yeah.
a huge game in Seattle. I don't think it's a given that San Francisco wins, although I'm kind of leaning that way because of the way the offensive line looked for Seattle yesterday. And then the Eagles, we already talked about the NFC East. The NFC East is one and done. They have one playoff team, and that's it. And it's, between the Eagles and the Cowboys. There is no other playoff team. We've talked about all the playoff teams because the Rams are 8-7, so they cannot catch up to the Vikings, who are 10-4, for example, and could be 11-5 after tonight. So the only real questions are who's going to get the 1 seed? Seattle, San Francisco, New Orleans, or Green Bay if they win tonight.
I think it stays the way it is right now.
You think the
I think Niners and the Saints have the 1 and 2.
Oh, okay, but the Niners. So you think the Niners are going to stay the 1 seed?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just checking. The Saints have to play the Panthers, so that's mind you, it's in Carolina, which means it's outside, which they haven't been outside very much.
Yeah.
So who knows, right? And then the other question is, so you've already answered the NFC West question. Obviously, you think San Francisco is going to win. The North, who's going to win the North?
I have
Packers?
no idea. I have no idea.
The Packers or the Vikings?
It doesn't matter. They're both those teams are losing the first weekend.
Now
they're losing the first weekend. I don't trust either team.
One of them is going to be the wild card, and they're going to be. They may
away.
Wait a minute.
They're both going to be home?
No. They may not both lose the first weekend because
oh shit,
they may have to play each other.
Oh shit, yeah.
The first weekend.
Damn. All right, I'll make a decision then.
I can just see our playoff preview right now. Who do you think is going to win wild card weekend? I still don't know.
Yeah.
I just saw him play 2 weeks ago, and I still have no idea. So it's pretty much wrapped up in the NFC. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of playoff drama this year. It's been
There really never is, though. Because there's so many scenarios that have to happen for certain teams to get in every year. And then at this time, it's really, it's hard to have...
Usually with 1 week left, you have 4 or 5 teams that still have a mathematical shot. And there's...
you got it now.
Right, in the AFC. But in the NFC, you have nothing.
Well,
In the NFC,
I thought you meant like throughout the whole league.
No, I'm talking by conference.
Oh.
So in the NFC, you have nothing. It's over for playoff teams. Well, except for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the only team on the outside that could still get in.
Right.
But everything else is done.
Yeah, it's just seeding now.
Yeah, it's all seeding.
Which matters.
Which matters a lot because it's a completely different game for the Saints if they have to go to San Francisco.
Right.
As opposed to the Niners going to New Orleans. And quite frankly, it's the same thing the rest of the way, right? With the other 4 teams. It's completely different for Minnesota to have to host Green Bay as opposed to go to Green Bay. It's completely different for, San Francisco or Seattle would end up going to Philadelphia or Dallas, which I think is an easy win for either one of those teams.
Yeah.
So there is some drama in the NFC, but it's all seeding related.
Right.
It's been pretty exciting, though. It's been really interesting, just from a ebb and flow perspective. In the beginning, the Patriots looked so good, and we've talked so little about teams like the Packers, and the Steelers looked like they were done 5 weeks into the season, and yet here they are still kicking. The Bills have been a surprise all year, and people, I think, are finally starting to realize that the Bills are for real. There's been a lot of interesting storylines. What's been your favorite storyline this year?
Storyline.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I'll say like biggest surprise was seeing Lamar Jackson doing what he's done, but I don't know.
The Bills have been, I think, to me, the Bills have been the most pleasant surprise, and it's been interesting to see that team kind of gain steam throughout the season.
I'll be surprised if they win a playoff game. I think this is it.
If they come to Houston, I think they have a very good chance of winning a playoff game. If they have to go to Kansas City, it's going to be tough.
The thing with Houston is their passing game, their wide receivers need to be healthy. I think they can beat the Bills.
Well, it's funny that you say that because Fuller's out for the season.
Right.
And Deshaun Watson has an ankle problem.
Yeah.
And the Texans are the worst 10-5 team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're also the best 10-5 team I've ever seen, but I just worry about them. You know, the Broncos have a good defense, and the Broncos completely shut them down. And I fear that the Bills would do the same thing to them here in Houston.
Yeah, it could be.
That's the fear. So I think they can win a playoff game. Now, if they have to go to Kansas City somehow,
who's that? Buffalo.
Buffalo. That's a tough. I don't think any of the wild card teams are winning in Kansas City.
Yo, Buffalo's defense has been 16 points, 3 points, 6 points, 9 points the past few games, and they're against pretty decent teams.
Only gave up 24 to the Patriots.
Their defense really had 16.
I thought it was 24-17 was the final score.
Right. They lost that game. I mean, the Chiefs won that game.
No.
They beat the Patriots.
Who?
The Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs. You said the Bills' defense.
No, I said the Chiefs' defense.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I said the Chiefs. Well, let's rewind this.
We'll rewind it and check. I thought you said the Bills.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. No. If you're talking about the Chiefs, go on. Proceed.
Yeah. No.
I'm not going to interrupt you.
Their defense, has been pretty damn good these past few weeks, which was, I think, a big question mark for them.
Yeah, scary thing for the rest of the AFC.
Yeah.
If they can somehow, they're going to have to go to Baltimore at some point. They got to contain Lamar Jackson, which is, a human highlight film.
That's the matchup I want to see. I want to see the Chiefs and the Ravens, and I want to see the Saints and the 49ers in the NFC. Give me the two best teams, the most complete teams. Give me those four teams to play for.
I think those would be really fun. That would be a fun conference championship Sunday. If those four teams were in it, I agree with you. I think it'd be great, and it'd be really good for the NFL.
Yeah, definitely.
You got anything else on the NFL that you want to talk about?
No. By the way, this Saturday proved that NFL on Saturday is better than college football on Saturday. These 3 games alone were pretty good. Name me
better than college football Saturday?
Name me the top 3 games on Saturday in college football this past year. You can't even name them.
Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Alabama.
Those weren't
Michigan,
great games.
Ohio State.
That wasn't a great game.
Great game. Oregon, Auburn from the beginning of the season.
No. NFL Saturday is way better than college football on a Saturday.
Not even close.
You know why?
Not even close.
You know why? Because only if you're a Michigan fan or Ohio State fan or Alabama fan, if you're an alumni from there or a fan of that team, then that's all you're worried about. You're not watching all the other games. Like on Saturday in the NFL, you're watching all these games. There's a big difference, I think.
I watch
I don't.
games on Saturday.
College football sucks.
That is the dumbest comment you've made in a long time.
It does. I think it's a personal opinion. I can't have a fucking personal opinion. I think it sucks.
You can have a personal opinion. It's just.
I think it
silly.
sucks. It's my silly opinion. It sucks.
Penn State, Minnesota.
I haven't watched any college
Texas,
football.
Oklahoma earlier this year. I mean, there's a ton of exciting games. It's a college football.
Did you watch them?
Yeah.
You watched them all.
Just
Bullshit.
about.
Bullshit.
Just about.
No, you didn't.
I watched a shit ton of them.
I don't believe that.
Why would you not believe it?
Because
I don't watch sports.
Because I don't think I just don't think that college football is that attract. Like, you're not gonna stop what you're doing to watch college football. I think for the NFL, you kind of drop what you're doing to watch football.
I absolutely stopped what I was doing to watch LSU Alabama.
That's it.
That was best game of the season. I mean, it was fantastic. It had a national championship feel to it. It was as exciting as the Super Bowl, really. I mean, the only difference is it wasn't an all-day production. But
that's a fucking silly comment.
No, it's not. The difference between the excitement for the Super Bowl and the excitement for that LSU Alabama game is the LSU Alabama game didn't have an all-day hype machine.
Who won that game?
LSU.
By how much?
I don't know.
Was it as exciting as you thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
No, I think the average that game had
absolutely.
a lot. That
it was
game
back
had
and forth.
That game had a lot of hype. I don't think it was as good as people expected it or wanted it to be.
But you think it was? But you think it was? You don't think it was more exciting than Houston and the Buccaneers on Saturday?
I don't know. I didn't watch the game.
Which one?
I didn't watch the LSU Alabama game.
But you thought the Houston Tampa Bay game was exciting?
Yeah, that was a pretty good game.
It was exciting because it was
a close game.
It was very exciting to see Jameis Winston throw the ball to anyone who would catch it.
No, I know, but
regardless of jersey, like that was the exciting part to me.
Yeah, but I mean, college is not exciting because of the whole ranking system, and it's not something. For me personally, it's not something that I say, man, let me, skip the gym and go watch, college
look,
football.
I mean, we all allocate our time how we see fit, right? But the college football games are.
I'm just saying the NFL gave us exciting. The NFL gave us 3 really good games on Saturday.
Hold on, seriously now.
Oh my God, bro, they were good games.
Do you really think that Houston Tampa Bay game was good?
What was the final score?
Who cares? It was terrible. Jameis Winston was throwing interceptions left and right, and the Texans.
They came back though.
The Texans couldn't. A game where Jameis Winston threw 4 interceptions and they had 2 fumbles, 6 turnovers, and the Texans, a team that's going to win their division and go into the playoffs, couldn't win by more than 3 points.
That game was better than any college football game I have watched in a while.
That's a horrible comment. That is ridiculous.
Hey, man, I stand by it.
You are
college football
your
sucks.
rocker.
I think college football's
You
horrible.
are absolutely off your rocker.
I'm serious.
Jameis Winston, I swear to God, I think the refs could have caught a couple of his passes.
Probably.
It was just terrible. I thought that game was awful. It should have been a complete blowout. You had a guy,
but it wasn't,
turning the ball over left and right. But that just,
exactly, it wasn't.
It adds to how inept both teams were. It was a shit show. It was a complete shit show.
I enjoyed it.
That game should have been 42-17.
Should have been, but it wasn't. It was close. It was a close game.
But because the Texans played so bad, they dumbed their football down to the level of Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers, and we had 23-20 of crap.
The Bucks, by the way, that's going to be my team for next year, for like the Bills were this year. The Bucks have a really good defense, and they're young. They're really only a quarterback away from being a decent team. The Bucks are making the playoffs next year.
They got to figure out the Jameis Winston thing.
I mean, I feel like if that's their only figuring out they need to do, they're making the playoffs next year.
Well, to be fair, that's a difficult thing to get right. Right? To get a quarterback.
It's his last year on the contract. You fucking just don't re-sign him.
Right, but then you get rid of him, then you got to get somebody else, right? Because it's not like they have someone waiting in the wings.
Yeah, you get a Tannenhill, you get an Eli Manning, you get a.
Both of those guys are not going to make the playoffs.
Tannenhill's helping the Titans right now.
Yeah, no, he is, but
I'm not saying
we're talking about guys that are not going to make the playoffs. That could likely not make the playoffs.
You don't think those quarterbacks are an upgrade over Winston?
Well.
They're an upgrade over Winston.
Here's the thing.
I would take Tannenhill.
Yes and no. Yes, they're an upgrade from a turnover perspective. Winston's throwing for a lot of yards too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword with Winston, which is why I say they got to figure out the Jameis Winston thing. Is he going to progress and continue to throw for 400 yards and cut back on the turnovers, or is he just a turnover machine and you got to move on and get somebody else?
Yeah.
It's a tough call. Personally, I think they should move on from him, but then you run into, who do you go out and get? Do you go the draft way and, get a rookie in there and let him take his lumps like the Giants have? Or do you go out and get a career backup and hope that he can light the fire and at least be good enough to not throw 29 interceptions?
Yeah.
And he's going to be, I can't remember the last time there was a 30-30 quarterback. But he's going to be it. Because I promise you, he's going to throw for a touchdown pass next week, and I promise you he's going to throw an interception.
I'm pretty sure he is.
On Saturday, it was incredible to watch.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
It was a nutty game. I don't like that they put the 2 games on the NFL Network.
Well, you just got to get the NFL Network.
But if you don't have it, it sucks.
No?
So I only got one of those games.
Which one?
The Texans.
Oh, the Texans.
The Texans in Tampa. And I watched a fair amount of that because...
Yeah, the 2 games were pretty good.
The Texans games draw you in somehow.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter who they're playing. They just make it like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed the games. It was all right.
So we should put up a fan poll to see if people
like college or NFL.
College or NFL. I bet you it'd be pretty 50-50. People love college. There's so many
rednecks. Rednecks
so
really love
many
college.
games on Saturday, and then obviously the NFL is a humongous machine. So
yeah.
It'd be interesting, but I'd be willing to bet people would be about 50-50.
Yeah, probably.
It's just
depend what part of the region's voting. What part of the country? What region of the country is voting?
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe. In SEC country, yeah, you're right. Probably a lot of college.
The South, right? Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Missouri. Missouri's not really South.
Kind of.
Mississippi. Then you get in the northeastern. It's
the Northeast
probably
would probably be more
NFL maybe.
NFL.
West Coast might be 50-50.
Right. Because
California,
the Pac-10 is there's a lot of huge SC and
and
the Midwest would probably be about 50-50, right? Because you got Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and then you've got crappy NFL teams, right? So
and the Northwest, I think, would lean college, like Portland, like the Oregon, right? Because there's no real NFL team, right?
Seattle's huge up there.
Yes, but I mean, so is Washington.
Yeah, Washington U.
Right, and you got Oregon.
Oregon's good.
You got the Dakotas.
It'd be really
South and North.
It'd be really interesting. I'm sure someone's already done this, but it'd be super interesting.
Yeah.
So here we're coming to the end of another wonderful podcast. We are 2 days from Christmas.
Yeah.
You done all your Christmas shopping?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
Pretty much done?
Pretty much done.
Are you expecting anything special from Santa Claus?
Yeah, presents.
Have you been a good boy all year?
Probably not.
Then,
but I still expect something. I mean, what the fuck? Listen, no kid in this world is perfect throughout the whole year.
And they get presents.
And they get tons of them from Santa and parents.
Yeah, that's true.
So, shit, I better get something for providing house, light, water for my kids.
Food,
shit.
You got anything special on your wish list?
You know what? It's already been granted. It's already been my Christmas wish has already been granted.
What's that?
Fucking new owners for the Mets. What the fuck?
Well, that hasn't happened yet, has it?
I mean, it's as official as it's ever gonna be.
I'll tell you who's.
So
we'll go back. We'll go back to the Mets, but you know who's having the best Christmas this year, right?
The Yankees, because they got coal in their stockings.
No.
Scott
Boras. What? That dude is getting a cut of about $1 billion worth of contracts between Cole, Strasburg, and Rendon.
Now Ryu.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting $1 billion worth of contracts he got signed this year.
Where the fuck did I go wrong?
And I don't know how much he gets, but if he gets 1% of $1 billion.
He gets 5% of each contract.
So 5% of $1 billion is $50 million. Is that right?
I'll take
Yeah.
I'll take
50
$5 million.
$50 million. And I bet you that fucker gets paid up front.
Yeah, ain't no back end.
He ain't waiting 9 years to collect his 5% on that 340 or whatever that.
Hey,
that
Bryce
quote
Harper,
was.
I know your contract is for 13 years, but
Yeah.
I need mine now.
Yeah, the day you sign is the day I get paid.
That's right.
I think that's the way that goes.
Yeah. Well, hey, man.
I don't think
Props to him.
I don't think the Mets deal is a done deal yet.
I mean, it's going through league approval right now, but it's pretty much what I've read is there's no
No
hiccups.
It's
Right.
like, okay.
Right.
Wow, I didn't
And
know
in
that.
5 years, you can lay me to rest. I don't care. In 5 years, the Wilpons will be completely flushed out of Citi Field.
Is that the way it works?
Yeah, it's going to be 5 years.
Well, wait a minute.
Until Cohen gets 100% of the Mets.
So he's
But-
gonna pony up to get 80% now, and
Right.
then he will get the additional 20% over the next 5 years.
Right.
Wow.
Right. But I think Cohen is he'll be calling the shots.
Well, yeah. If he's getting 80%,
Yeah. I think he's already calling the shots.
if he's getting 80%, the only thing the Wilpons will be doing is collecting checks for their 20%.
Yeah.
So
Right.
wow, that's huge.
Yeah. I
That's
can't
huge,
wait.
and I think that'll be good for the Mets. A change of ownership is what they need.
Yeah.
They absolutely
So-
need that.
Bye-bye, Wilpons. Don't let the door hit ya.
Now, have they done anything in free agency this year?
Who, the Mets?
Yeah.
They got Porcello
Oh yeah.
and I forgot the other.
Porcello's a good signing.
Porcello and I can't remember the other pitcher.
It's not as good as Strasburg, but it's a decent signing.
Yeah, he'll eat up some innings.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've already got a number 1 and a number 2,
So yeah, they should be all right.
that'll replace Wheeler going to the Phillies.
Yeah,
So,
they should be all right.
all right. You got anything else?
That's it, man.
Alrighty, well, I still have some Christmas shopping to do, so we're gonna cut this
Shit.
puppy short and call it done.
Better hurry up.
I don't have much time, man. I'm that guy, right?
You're that
that's
guy.
walking around the mall on the 24th. Oh, I think I need to get one more
Yeah,
thing.
I refuse to do that.
I went to the mall this weekend. I don't want to go back.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back.
I will be
Amazon it, bro.
Amazon next day
Prime.
shipping.
Pay the
Yo,
$100 to get it in 5 minutes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. So we've come to the end of podcast number 107.
107.
107 WBLS.
107. That's a lot of podcasts.
That is a lot of podcasts. As always, folks, you can catch our podcast on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you choose to get your podcast from.
Yup.
If you want to get a hold of the show, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of this guy, how do they get a hold of you, Alex?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
And if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well, at eMontana21. Have a very happy holiday season. May Santa bring you everything that you desire. If you don't celebrate Christmas, may you get all of the presents you want for Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever. Just get you some presents.
That's right.
Most importantly, though, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.